Transforming Education Systems Amid Global Crisis, Lessons from the Pandemic Era. The COVID-19 pandemic, like other major global crises, has had a huge effect on the education sector across the world. When schools shut down, teachers and students had to quickly switch to online learning, which brought about many changes in how education is delivered. This study looks at how such global crises impact education, focusing mainly on the changes caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. It explores how teaching methods, classroom content, and the way students are trained and prepared for their futures have evolved in response. Using a qualitative research approach, the study reviewed existing articles and research to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the changes in education brought on by the pandemic. Some positive trends were identified, such as the growth of hybrid, online and in-person teaching models and a shift in how education is thought about and delivered. For example, hands-on, practical learning has become more important. However, the study also found ongoing problems like unequal access to resources and the need for a well-structured system to support sustainable progress in education. The study makes several suggestions to help education systems better handle future global crises. These include building a strong educational theory framework, taking the long-term effects of crisis seriously, and focusing on long-term sustainable growth in the education sector. Moving forward, it's important for schools and policymakers to stay flexible and responsive to global changes. Education systems need to keep up with the times so they can grow strong, creative, and practical learners who are well prepared for the future. Lastly, more research is needed to understand how global crises like the COVID-19 pandemic affect education in the long run, so we can build better systems for future generations. Introduction. In recent years, the world has faced several major crises, with the COVID-19 pandemic being one of the most significant. Education systems around the globe were heavily impacted and caught off guard. School closures and the shift to online learning affected nearly all students, especially those in poorer or rural areas, children with disabilities, and displaced communities. Many students had limited access to quality education due to health, financial, and technological challenges. The traditional way of teaching could not cope with the demands of the crisis, forcing schools to quickly adapt. Teaching methods, course content, and educational goals had to be revised to fit new learning environments. Although these changes exposed many weaknesses in the system, they also opened the door to innovation and long-term reform. This study looks at how education has transformed in response to global crises, mainly COVID-19, and explores the benefits and challenges of these changes. It suggests building strong educational frameworks, paying attention to the long-term effects of crisis, and focusing on sustainable development. The goal is to help educators and policymakers create systems that are more flexible, inclusive, and ready for future challenges. Conclusion. Global crises like the COVID-19 pandemic have deeply affected all levels of education, especially higher education. While these disruptions caused major challenges, they also pushed universities and colleges to change and improve. Teaching methods became more flexible, courses were redesigned, and the focus on practical skills increased. Although current research on these changes is valuable, it often lacks long-term planning and a clear system. In the post-pandemic world, higher education is seeing new trends such as blended learning, a mix of online and in-person classes, and a shift in educational values. Different areas of education are reforming in unique ways, and we can learn from how other countries are handling these changes. Still, challenges remain, and smart strategies are needed to adapt to ongoing global and social changes. Moving forward, education systems should focus more on long-term impact, innovation, and developing students who are skilled, adaptable, and ready for the future. More research is also needed to understand how global crises affect students' learning and life over time. By working together, educators, researchers, governments, and society, we can build a strong, flexible higher education system that can face future crises and continue to grow in a healthy, sustainable way. This important article is authored by the following scientists: Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel BP International to watch more videos in the fields of science, technology and medicine.